I thought you were lost again. Uncle Yun responded like this. I'm really not good at finding my way. After all, I'm directionally challenged. These lines are super romantic. Just like the origin story say they met because Uncle Yun was lost while chasing a lead. It also foretells their future together. Whenever Uncle Yun loses his way in life, his wife Hyun-jiki is always there to lend a helping hand, like when Uncle Yun's job is he thinks he's useless, like a phone without a charge, but Hyun-jiki encourages him. I'm the reason you exist. For instance, when Lamin invites him somewhere, Hyun-jiki backs him up, saying, "Go do whatever feels meaningful, let's not live a life full of what-ifs." Look, every time Uncle Yun stands at a crossroads in life, Hyun-jiki shows up like GPS, no exaggeration here, she's his light's navigation system. Hyun-jiki is like a lighthouse in a maze, always lighting up the path Uncle Yun wants to take. And our directionally challenged Yun can only find one road, the one leading. This time is no different. He indeed finds her, but alas, it's his own wake. Third repetition guarantees reuse. Do you understand? Now, here comes a straightforward walking scene. It takes romanticism to the max. Who can watch this without feeling the heartache of our star-crossed lovers? Right? Right on to the next scene. Director stages a tiny space for Jang Jae-in to change into morning clothes, walls in front and back. It's a dead end on both sides. Jang Jae-in's life is at a standstill. He's lost all directions because that lighthouse is now kaput. At this moment, the director skips the cheesy flashback. The camera slowly zooms out, giving the actors ample time to convey their emotional turmoil to the audience. Jang Jae-in is a mess of sorrow. He struggles long and hard to remove his army boots, only to collapse in tears on the ground. This shoe removal debacle conveys a double meaning. On one level, these boots were given to him by the squadron leader during an espionage mission. Previous scenes hinted at this. Jang Jae-in only wears these boots for missions, and missions symbolize his secret agent work, the kind no one dreams of. So, he can't take off these boots, figuratively chained to Lumen. No matter how hard he tries, escaping isn't happening. But that's not all. There's also a deeper layer being hinted at, but we'll save that for later. The reason for the accident seems suspicious. I lean toward Hyun-jiki's crash not being an accident. Either Uncle Yun ticked off the scheming Chao section chief and got some payback, or Lao Min was involved, who the puppet master is. Not the point. The point, Jang Jae-in missed his wife's last moments due to work. Such regret is heartbreaking, like glass shards in romance. Two straightforward scenes elevate Jang Jae-in as a tragic character, thanks to the writer's foreshadowing and the actor's stellar performances. The director knows how to shoot none without the others, and details like those boots are as common as flies in this drama. Fansel, pound, a tilde divided by, or acute, say acute, 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 cyrillic letter 4, ABC, Sidele, overseas, still cyrillic letter 4, BD, O tilde, acute, grov T, E, N, ligate, DZ, not sign, E, I, circumflex, E, umlaut, O, circumflex, abic letter 6B, 1 pound, al, 3/4 thorn, I, circumflex, ton, symbol 7, B, 0, circumflex, so umlaut, divide by I, paragraph E, O, tilde, divide by O, grov Chinese letter 1, E, 7, E, acute, micro, letter, E, grov, acute, divide by quarter degrees, at the say, it, I, umlaut, pound, sign, symbol 3680, Y, acute, O, letter 3, FD, cents, 3/4, E, umlaut, letter GBD, cents, quarter, O, grov, E, circumflex, O, umlaut, 10, direct reflex, I, umlaut, O, umlaut, I, umlaut, times, O, umlaut, A, O, quarter, O, tilde, pound copyright. And let's not forget Laikai's beeping watch on his arm expressing his desire to never let his son down. This series is all about making promises. Honestly, the show is crafted with exceptional detail. At this point, it deserves a solid 7. The details are just the icing on the cake, just a thin layer of glaze. This show is like a 3-layer chocolate truffle, with the first layer wrapped in love. The creators have buried deeper themes beneath. That's the key reason the show hasn't evolved into a soap opera. Next, let's dive into deeper, harder to understand, brutally poignant stuff. Let's talk about Xiao Xiao, a character dripping with tragic undertones. He's a bit like for the head of the Royal Guards when you just watched. You might have wondered why this guy committed suicide out of nowhere. Were the director, writer, and actors all in a rush? Of course not. In fact, the character of Xiao Xiao is brilliantly portrayed. But before getting into him, let's quickly mention Jin Duje. This character is motherly to the extreme, shooting only for the lungs. He thinks he's a kind-hearted soul. Meanwhile, every soldier in the bar got executed that night. Because they were soldiers, Dragon City was the battlefield. Losing ground means a warlord had to deal with it. Xiao Xiao became the last man standing. From here on, the writer plants the seeds for his subsequent suicide. As the plot progresses, Xiao Xiao is given the mission to form a superpower team for North. Fast forward to the pivotal year of 1994. This is where the plot thickens. If you know North Korean history, 1994 was a transformative year. Many significant events took place in North Korea that year. Well, highlight 2. First, the Great Famine, where official reports claimed 500,000 died. But you know how statistics others in the know understand. The actual number of deaths. After digging through testimonies of defectors, it's roughly double the. It's terrifying. What's even scarier? The previous chairman Kim passed away in 1994, and the new guy took charge just as the country spiraled. When Xiao Xiao selected potential superhumans, many joined for food due to famine. Some were even forced in. They were told, "You have superpowers, now go prove it." Because when a new ruler takes the stage, you've got to purge the old god to keep the throne safe. So when Beige awakened his superpowers, he flew up to Xiao Xiao and said, "There are mountains of corpses down there. How many lives have you used as an excuse to take?" Once you grasp this history, these lines chilled to the bone. And Xiao Xiao, at that moment, is shaken to the core. Question erupts in his mind: is pointless sacrifice inevitable? Here the writer sets up his eventual suicide once more. Then, Xiao Xiao leads a team to South Korea, declaring they will only eliminate the previous generation of supers. Let's wrap up those old scores. It's clear from this. He resembles Jin Jushai, filled with humanitarianism, not killing innocents. Witnessing comrades' deaths, he recalls lost friends. Comrades fought tooth and nail for honor yet lived only in humiliation. Thus, martyrdom was their finest end, and suicide felt like the only option. As we understand his history and its deeper metaphors, we revisit the whole series and find that Tang critiques cheap humanitarianism like a big old debt. It's a silent critique of power structures, a flicker of sympathy for those lost in shadows, and a lament for the lives of the downtrodden, just as I mentioned earlier. It's just like a 3-layer chocolate truffle. If you just take a quick nibble, you see the romantic storyline. But if you dig deeper, once you break into the dark chocolate center of Tang, it gets pretty bitter. And speaking of that, this show scores 8/10, already impressive, but even better awaits. Peel the dark chocolate away and keep watching.